Hello, y'all! Shaniqua is here! Woo! Big bouncy boobies and all! Yes! Anyway, seriousness. Okay. Yes, I usually start the video a little bit crazy. Anyway, I don't know, they seem a lot bigger than usual. Anyway, okay, my last video, if you guys haven't watched it yet, you click right over here. There'd be a link somewhere floating above my head right now about the earthquake in Mexico City that's killed probably about over 300 by now. In that video, I talk about a timeline, correlations, I don't know, you can call them coincidences if you want, about earthquakes that happen in Mexico, big earthquakes that happen in Mexico, them triggering things in California and possibly Alaska. I talked about that in the last video. Didn't show any evidence of it to verify what I was saying, but I have that for you now. Just to show you, I did look hard and deep into it for the last video. I'm going to play that video for you now, show you the timelines and everything matching up for these certain earthquakes over the course from now into the 1800s. Okay, I went that far. Yes, I did. I did a lot of research about this. Okay, let me play that for you now, then I'll get back into the main video. Fair warning, it is long. Like I said, I went to the 1800s. Ha! Most of y'all were never alive then. Your parents, your grandparents, whatever, weren't even thought of yet. Oh, 1800s. Ooh, yes. So, I'll play that for you now. Alrighty. Hello y'all, Shaniqua here for this part of the video. Now, as I stated in my last video, I was talking about the earthquake that happened in Mexico City, the 7.1 that was on the anniversary of the last big earthquake that happened in Mexico. I also talk about a timeline, a pattern, a correlation, if you will, of earthquakes that happened in Mexico and in California and possibly Alaska. I didn't show any evidence of that in the last video, so I'm showing that now, just so you guys know I wasn't just being crazy and talking out of my ass or whatever. Okay, so here are the last two earthquakes that have hit Mexico. Hopefully you can see my mouse on this screen recorder. I'm not sure if it's showing up, but I'm circling them right now. Of 2017, 9th month of the 7th day, 2017, 9th month of the 19th day. Both very strong earthquakes, 8.1, 7.1. Nothing has happened in California yet, or Alaska, of course. Let's just go to the most recent earthquake to match up with these things that I've, these earthquakes that I discovered, the pattern. In Mexico, 2014, 4th month of the 18th day, is 7.2. 2014, 8th month of the 24th day, in California, is 6.0. And let's go down to 1999. 9th month of the 30th day, is 7.4. In California, in 1999, 10th month of the 16th day, a 7.1, Eastern California. And here in 1985, 9th month of the 19th day, that was the anniversary of the last big earthquake, when the other earthquake happened very recently this year. There was an 8.1 in Mexico City. Now this was interesting, okay? This didn't have a huge earthquake like the other ones in California. This had a cluster of earthquakes. Let's see, 1985, 9th month of the 19th day, and 8.1. A few months later, in 1986, 3rd month of the 31st day, at 5.6. and then 1986, this is interesting right here. 1986, 7th month of the 8th day, 1986, 7th month of the 13th day, 1986, 7th month of the 21st day, some strong earthquakes there. And then it continued to 1987. 1987, 10th month of the 1st day, 1987, 11th month of the 23rd day, 1987, 11th month of the 24th day. These last two were back-to-back within a day of each other. The 23rd and the 24th of 1987 on the 11th month. I think that we're triggered by this 1985 earthquake that was an 8.1. It just went to California in a series of quakes, not just one big blowout. Same thing happened with the 1980 earthquake on the 10th month of the 24th day, a 7.2. It happened within a month of each other in California, 1980, 11th month of the 8th day, a 7.3. And it continued, 1981, 1983, and 1984. Now, the 1973 earthquake in Mexico on the 1st month of the 30th day, a 7.5. This happened, one happened in California a month later in 1973 on the 2nd month of the 21st day, a 5.8. So, it's just fascinating. It's really interesting. Now, again, in 1941, 4th month of the 15th day, here in California, which was 1941, 6th month of the 30th day, 1941, 11th month of the 14th day. Some pretty moderate earthquakes right there, around the same year, then just like a few months of each other, you know? Now, 1932, 6th month of the 3rd day, and 8.1 again. Just 3 days later in California, on the North Coast in 1932, 6th month of the 6th day, a 6.4. And now this one is a little bit different than the other ones. This one is a couple years apart. But it says 1920, 1st month of the 3rd day, a 7.8 in Mexico. Took 3 years. But 1923, 1st month of the 22nd day, North Coast, a 7.2. Now, these ones that I have in blue are quite interesting. But first, let me show you the correlations with Alaska first. Okay? Let's go to California. 2014, a 6.0. 2 years later, it's actually a year and a half later, in 2016, a 7.1 happened in Alaska. And then in 1986, that was the time when these earthquakes right here were going off. One happened in Alaska of an 8.0 around this time frame right here. So the whole entire San Andreas fault was popping off around this time. From 1985 to 1986, there was earthquakes up the ass all along that fault line that year, for a couple of years actually. But whew, damn, I would not have been like to have lived around that time, around those years, because I would have been like, oh my god, when will the ground stop shaking? Now this is cool. These ones in blue is fascinating, very fascinating. It started in Mexico in 1990 and also 1899. Within a year of each other, there were a 7.5 and a 7.4. 6 years later, California went way crazy and had 2 earthquakes on the same day in different parts of California. 1906. 4th month of the 18th day. 1906, 4th month of the 18th day. Imperial Valley, 6.3. Northern Central, a 7.8. These are completely different parts of California that went off at the same time. Also, in Alaska, 4 months later of 1906, and 8 point, and it says 35 for some reason, and 8 point something went off 4 months later. You know, so considering what I'm seeing here, after Mexico just had these 2 catastrophic, humongous, crazy earthquakes within a week of each other pretty much, of an 8.1 and a 7.1, according to this timeline and these correlations and everything that I looked up, California is gonna get hit with the big one. Okay, because that's what it looks like here. They maybe get hit with a really big one or a cluster of ones or whatever, and Alaska probably too later. It's just crazy what I discovered. So, just let you know that I did do the research on this. I did look hard and deep into this. And maybe I'm reading too much into things. Maybe I'm just like, oh my God, you know, looking for stuff that, you know, is just whatever. But I still find it fascinating that these timelines are matching up for these earthquakes, especially when there's a big one in Mexico. Things happen in California and eventually Alaska, you know. I know earthquakes happen all the time, all over. There's a lot of earthquakes in here that aren't circled, okay? That, you know, that, or whatever. But it still doesn't change the fact that maybe even the ones that aren't circled, you know, maybe they had some impact on the earthquakes in California. Maybe it just took a little bit longer than a couple days, couple months to a couple years. I don't know, but it's just crazy, you know, what I discovered. Some of these earthquakes that happened in California were just days apart from the ones in Mexico, weeks apart from the ones in Mexico. You know, it just, even the ones in Alaska, like the last big one to hit California, 1906 earthquake, 7.8, and 8 point something, same year in Alaska, just a couple months of each other. You know, it's just, it's fascinating, you know. Anyway, like I said, I may be looking too deep into this, too much into this, whatever. You know, I'm just, you know, whatever, you know. I think there's something to this. Whether you guys think there is or not, it's up to speculation. Anyway, I will get back to my main part of the video, talk more about this. I will see you guys soon. Love y'all, hugs and kisses. Mwah. So as you can see, the timeline and everything matches up with a lot of the earthquakes. Some of them were even days from each other in California, from Mexico to California. Days of each other. I was like, what? Oh my God. So, yes, I'm a little bit freaked out right now. I am frazzled, okay? Because I was not expecting what I dug up. Okay? So, basically, in a nutshell, California may get hit with a big one. Like my big old boobies. Yeah. Let's see. Maybe if I make them jiggle hard enough, they're like, what happened now? Nope, no earthquake. It's not caused by Shaniqua's big old breasted boobies. So we got that situated. Anyway, so based off of the timeline, California is going to get hit with an earthquake sooner or later, very soon, according to the timeline. Some of them were within days of each other from Mexico. Some of them were weeks or months from each other, even a few years. It doesn't matter. What happened in Mexico with those 2 earthquakes, 8.1 and a 7.1, like I talked in the video, it's going to trigger something big in California. That's what the timeline is showing. I'm not trying to scare anybody. Like I said, I may be looking into this too deep, too much. Just looking for stuff to look for stuff, I guess. I don't know. Do not quote me on any of this. I'm just saying, based off of the research that I dug up, it's a possibility that California could get hit with the next earthquake, the next big earthquake, okay? So, and like I said, speculation, it's hearsay, it's whatever, okay? I'm just looking at the evidence that I'm digging up, alrighty? So I love y'all. I will talk to you soon. Stay tuned for more videos. I will get them up as soon as I possibly can. Love y'all so much. Hugs and kisses. Mwah!